the histrionic personality disorder. Now, the background of the etymology of this term goes back to the word hysterical, and most notably, female histrionics, requiring, of course, a hysterical paroxysm. That's your homework for tonight. Go look up what that is. Thankfully, we have medical devices freely available to help women take care of that problem now. But when you think of female hysteria, which was really just something that manifests during the 18th century, it basically boils down to a whole bunch of rich, spoiled women sitting at home with nothing to do all day, with maids to clean the house and nannies to watch their children. They're supposed to sit around knitting for 12 hours a day, and you got the hysterical woman. The hysterical personality disorder is very, very similar to that. But as before, let's start with the personality type it's based upon, the melancholic. Now, just like the choleric, the melancholic person is very task-oriented. They're a thinker, a reader, a planner. But unlike the choleric, they don't like to go out and start these plans. They don't like to go and organize people. They like to organize ideas. The librarian, the bookkeeper, the scientist. They like to study things in private. They like to build machines. They like to program computer code. They're not unfriendly, but they're able to get by without the interaction of other people for very long periods of time. They will interact and they will be friendly, and they can be an invaluable friend, an invaluable, member of the party. But they don't need the party as much as other people do. They're an isolate. They do very well on their own. And their ultimate drive in life? To master something. So where's the superego come in with all of this? Well, the superego, interesting enough, what defines the melancholic is the opposite of their innate nature. They're withdrawn and focused on tasks, on things. And yet what really defines the melancholic person is their id. It's that little spark of animal creativity that gives them a purpose in life. It's that love of something that gives them something to study, whether it be machines, whether it be video games, what have you. There's something they love, some puzzle that they love to solve, and they focus on that puzzle. And this all comes from the id. Histrionic, however, has no id. Or rather, their id, like that of the sociopath, is completely subsumed within their ego. And so the histrionic person is ultimately bored. Boredom is what defines the histrionic. They don't have the personality to go out and talk to people. In fact, they don't even like people very much. But there's no project, no computer code, no machine they can build that they can fall in love with, because they don't have the ability to fall in love. They're task-oriented and introverted and bored because they have absolutely nothing to do. So they find themselves a project. And that project becomes other people. Except once again, they have nothing they particularly want to achieve. And one of the most challenging things you can do with other people is gaslight them, is make them go insane, is screw with them. And so that's what the histrionic does. They're an interpersonal troll. They troll the people around them to cause havoc and misery in between them. Like the psychopath, they have no love of truth. They don't know what truth is, and they are prolific liars. Unlike the psychopath, they don't really they don't see themselves as owning other people. The psychopath, as an extrovert, recognizes people as distinct objects. The histrionic is an introvert. They don't even really recognize that people exist, but they seek to surround themselves with a large network, a large family unit, because they need that activity around them. Nothing is going on the inside. They need all of this vibrancy around them. At the same time, they don't want attention. What they want to do is start shit between these other people. And so what they'll do is they'll lie, they'll misinterpret, they'll start arguments between people, they'll take offense. For instance, if your friend is dating a histrionic, and you and her are in the room while he's somewhere else, and you say something, she'll go to your friend the next day and completely skew what you said to make it into the most offensive and rude and terrible thing, so that your friend needs to have a talk with you about what you said to his girlfriend. They love the misinterpretation for that, because the honest, what you actually meant, that's not exciting. That's boring. She doesn't care about, or you said something about politics. She doesn't care about politics. She doesn't have any interests. You are just talking sanely and politely and like a normal human being. That's not interesting for her. She wants drama. She wants violence. She wants people fighting. She wants misery. She is unable to actually feel anything inside of herself. The closest she gets to having an emotion is to vicariously enjoy others' suffering. There really isn't too much to say about the histrionic, except that she's bored and she starts fights with other people, or between other people. She becomes the eye of the storm. One of the telltale signs of a histrionic is that everybody around her is fucked up and she's perfectly fine. They'll tell you stories about everybody that they know. They'll tell you how their parents are bad people for doing XYZ, or they'll complain about their boyfriend when he's not around. They'll have all these problems in their life, but none of it will directly affect them. See, they'll be left out of it. They're sort of they act like they're the person that's just barely holding all these crazy people together. Like, look at how crazy my family is, and I'm the only one that can make Thanksgiving dinner on time. Oh, you lunatics. Do you know what your dad said about you recently? Yeah, he said you're an absolute failure, son. What's wrong with him? And then she'll go to the dad and say something equally vile and poisonous, and just start a huge cyclone of misery around herself, because that's the only enjoyment she gets out of life. Fairly easy to pick up, and not too dangerous unless if she decides to start phoning the police with accusations about things. Typically she won't. Typically she might threaten the police, but really she just wants to she wants to see the fight. She's not going to run away from the fight. She wants to be there to witness you two being miserable, and the police would probably resolve things. And so typically not too dangerous of a person to be around. They just make everybody miserable. So avoid them. Look out for people that complain about others all the time and that don't seem to have something that they're living for. They have no internal compass of stuff that matters to them. They're a chameleon. They have no true identity. Their use of violence, once again, it's instrumental, but they initiate it outside of themselves. That's a histrionic. They're really not that interesting. Just an awful person to be around. Anyway, next time, the narcissist.